views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
Hi, welcome. This is Dr. John DeMartini. This is one of the most amazing and inspiring shows that you can listen into. If you want to be on the edge of your seats, if you want to open up your heart, if you want to expand your mind, and you want to meet incredible people, stay tuned because you're just about to experience a transformative radio show that will change your life. And you're listening to the Dr. Pat Show that's coming up right next.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me, busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail. Wow, everyone. So great. I'm Dr. Pat. So great to be tuning in with all of you out there. Thanks for joining us today. We got a great lineup for you. And I am so excited about this first show and what we're going to be talking about. The Natural Psychic with it's amazing, friend, colleague, author, Ellen Dugan joining me here today. And just so you know, those of you that have been asking already if this is going to be a call-in show, yes. Not only is it a call-in show, you're going to be able to call in to the show today and connect with Ellen. But the other thing is we have copies of her incredible book to give away, The Natural Psychic, Personal Guide to the Psychic Realm. You know, psychic is something we've been talking about for a really long time, and we'll talk about what all or any of that means. But first, let me say hello to Mr. Benny. Hello, Mr. Benny.
Howdy, Pat.
How you be?
I be good.
Another day in the saddle.
You know it. Giddy up.
Giddy up.
Giddy up.
That's what I like to say. Giddy, yahoo.
If I had my whip crack available, but I don't. But I'm sure I could find it.
I know. Yeah. We're doing the triple crown of radio right here. Isn't that it?
Oh, yeah. That's it right to a T.
That's like a giddy up and hold on.
Right.
Life is what you're
doing. Something like that? Is that what you're looking for?
I'm saying that's it.
I broke it out. Yeah. Never too early to do a wee-hoo.
You do a really good job. You know,
Thank you.
So interesting. Someone said to me about a month ago, somebody said to me, do you guys like drink on the radio? I said, what? No. They said, is that like natural fun that you have? I said, heck yeah.
Only the naturalist that hits the basis of our life.
It's only the naturalist that hits. We hit it all right here.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't plan this kind of fun. It's got to come from within. Well, you know, Benny, I got to tell you, Ellen knows a bit about this right here.
She does?
Yeah, she knows a bit about this. You know, if you're an award-winning author, if you're a psychic clairvoyant, you know, if you're somebody that is popping it out in the world, right? And then you sit down and you write a book. And I just want to tell everybody about the book. We've actually got, I think, 3 copies to give away. And then you sit down and you're going to write a book and you're going to say, wait a minute, this is like a personal guide. And then you open the book and here's what you get right at the gate, out of the gate, popping it. The book is dedicated for her children and her niece. And this is what I love. And she goes and says, for my children, Craig, Kyle, and Aaron, and for my niece, Olivia, who all have their own gifts and psychic abilities, who will one day pass these talents along to the next generation. Remember where you come from and what I've taught you. Those very qualities that make us different are what make us united and stronger as a family. I love this part. You ready? Honor the past, enjoy the present, and embrace the future. Love you. Now, this is what you all listening to this show, this is what you're getting ready to experience today. You know, Ellen is someone that's wrote over more than a dozen books, translate into 10 languages, and comes to the table to help us understand the 3 Ps, the 5 Cs, all of the above, and how to live and have a great day, even if you forget to put on your deodorant. That's what I'm talking about. Ellen, it's great to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me.
I love the way you dedicated the book. I mean, I love how touching this is, and especially the part where you talk about the fact that, here we are, and we really do have an obligation to pass talents along to future generations. And I was so glad to hear you talk about that. Is that the way you see your vision, your mission?
It is for me a lot, because I remember what it was like when I was growing up and I didn't have any answers. And every time I would ask questions, because I'm going to be 52 here in a couple months. So when I grew up in the 60s and 70s, psychic ability was not discussed in polite Midwestern conversation. So when I raised my kids, I made sure that, when they would say, hey, Mom, I had a dream that came true, or hey, Mom, I had this weird feeling and this happened. What's that? I would look at them and say, oh, that's normal. That's called blah, blah, blah. That's a precognitive dream. That's precognition. No big deal. And they would go, oh, okay. And they would just go about their business. So I raised them knowing that this was normal. This is natural. This wasn't outside the realm of polite society. And for me, that was really important. And I think the biggest thing that I run into with people is the fear that they have when they want to understand the abilities that they have. They're afraid, and they need information. They need it to be non-denominational, and they need someone to give them straight talk. And if you want straight talk, I'm your girl.
And you know what? Aren't we getting really interested in straight talk these days? If the old brigade, someone said to me, the old brigade wasn't really about straight talk. As a matter of fact, if you had straight talk, right, Ellen, you were kind of thought about to be rude.
Yeah, I think the word I'm often called is blunt, which I think is a nice term for that.
I know.
I just don't believe in pulling punches. I'd rather be straight up and honest with someone than tell them something that they want to hear. I'm going to tell you, if you ask me a question, I will tell you what I think, and I don't lie. You have to be honorable and ethical when you are a psychic, especially if you do readings for the public, because if you're not, it's just wrong on more levels. That could be a whole other, interview in itself. But
yeah.
When you're working with someone and you're telling them what you see and you're doing readings for them, you have to be honorable and ethical and honest. And if you're not, then please catch a bus to the next, hobby. Please don't get involved in this.
I want to ask you a question about
Sure.
all of the angels that showed up in your life to bring you to this very moment. Sometimes we forget that, there's like this connect the dot thing that happens in our lives that becomes unexplainable. You can't explain it. I mean, it's not like, oh, I got a business plan. Well, maybe you did. But I wanted you to share a little bit about how your own psychic abilities, how these insights, I just refer to them as angels, they could be anything, but how your ability to connect the dots got you to today.
Well, for me, it was a lot of questioning. When I was in high school, I had a whole lot of ability and absolutely no control, and I went on a quest and tried to discover as much as I could about psychic abilities, and that took years and years and years and a lot of practice. And for me, it was more a matter of finding out the names and the terms for everything was important to me, because when I first started trying to understand what was going on, there weren't a lot of terms. You either found super scientific stuff or stuff that was very kind of crystal crunchy, fluffy, and you were like, wait, can I just get some honest information here?
Wow.
So for me, it took decades to get real information, which is why when I wrote the book, I was so right up front about the terminology that people use and what these abilities are actually called, and to put a name on things, because when something has a name, then you can understand it, and that takes away the fear. But you've got to have a name to understand what you're dealing with. Is it precognition? Is it postcognition? Once people understand, oh, is that what that is? Then they go, oh, okay. And then it helps them get a handle on it. And then they can go forward instead of being afraid or wondering what's going on.
Many people look at, some of the things that they see, they hear, they smell, they taste, and are really easy to dismiss it. And, we come from sort of this background, right, where folks believe that, oh my gosh, none of us really have these abilities. That's for, like the 3% or 1% that I get to hear on the radio. What have you discovered about psychic abilities, and what is the message for the folks listening today?
Everybody, and I do mean everybody, has psychic abilities and psychic experiences. Some people are more comfortable exploring them. Some people shut the door on that, and it's not something they want to pursue. But everybody has some type of psychic ability, from when you're driving your car home from work and you're watching some guy off in the left lane thinking, I don't think so. And you just slow down, and all of a sudden you cut off 4 cars, and you're like, oh, that could have been me. Or all of a sudden you drive a different way home from work. And you're like, I don't know why I drove this way home. And you turn on the radio, and there was a huge accident, and you'd have been stuck for hours. Every mom walks into the room, takes one look at their kid, and goes, you, what did you do? Come here. I mean, we all have instincts. We all have intuition. And this is natural. It's a part of our makeup as humans. And to ignore it is silly, in my opinion. But if you understand it, take a look at it, figure out what's going on and how you access your psychic information, that gives you knowledge. And knowledge, in my opinion, is power, and power for self-improvement and self-empowerment, and not to be afraid.
Well, part of this is so well presented in your book. I just love it. The natural psychic. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we are taking your calls. So if you would like to connect today live on air with Ellen, please give us a shout. 1-800-930-2819. This is an experience here today on the show. 1-800-930-2819. We would so love to hear from you. We have opened up the lines for live on-air readings. When we come back, we're going to be talking with Ellen about what I love, the 3 Ps of psychic experiences. And by the way, what is a psychic experience, and how do you know you're actually having it? How many times have you said, wow, that was just weird? And, people around you are looking at, well, what do you mean just weird? And you just do not have the words for it. You know what I'm talking about. Let's take a short break, everyone. We'll come back. We'll tell you how you can get your own copy of the book. Phone lines are open, 1-800-930-2819. And, get ready for the 3 Ps of psychic experience. And I love that you're going to get to think about how this is showing up in your life. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with the show.
Came a long way from misunderstood. Far away from the days where I wouldn't want to go home because I was afraid of the truth. See, I was scared to admit the feeling was in the back of my head. Because the point will lie no longer words, so you have to stand up for how you want to live.
Holistic Medical Center is where you find it all. A healthy space with doctors who care, see, and listen to the whole you. Hi, this is Dr. Darvish. If you have not found an answer to your chronic symptoms, you will find answers here at Holistic Medical Center. Our doctors find the root cause of your symptoms and guide your body towards healing naturally. We transform lives from within. Visit drdarvish.com or call 425-451-0404.
My dream is to end homelessness.
My passion is living a green life.
My dream is to end poverty.
My passion is volunteering.
My passion is making a difference.
My dream is to cure Lyme disease.
My passion is rebuilding communities.
My passion is helping those in need.
My passion is caring for the elderly.
My dream is to find a cure for cancer.
My dream is to leave a better world for my children.
We all have that special passion, that lifelong dream that drives us to live our lives with meaning and to create a better world. No matter what drives you, we can all make an impact. Dr. Pat Basili is helping others make their dreams come true, so we can all help make our world a better world.
To learn more about how Dr. Pat is building a community of sharing hope, strength, funds, knowledge, and information, visit abetterworldcrowdfunding.com today. That's abetterworldcrowdfunding.com.
Tune in to Sheer Alchemy with Leslie Fontaine on TransformationTalkRadio.com and get ready to stir up your passions, remove your blocks, and shift into an entirely new existence. Speaker, teacher, channel, clairvoyant, Leslie Fontaine is a transformation catalyst who channels a powerful energy from source to catapult listeners into living the life they were born to live. Whether it's shifting from scarcity to abundance, from emotional pain into joy, or from illness into health, Leslie will help you step into the true essence and power of all that you are with the help of the Ascended Masters and Archangels. You will not be the same. Visit TransformationTalkRadio.com for show dates and times and LeslieFontaine.com to say yes to explosive abundance.
How would you like increased health and vitality? How would you like to avoid the onset of disease as well as slow the aging process? This is all possible through a simple, safe, and natural process. Every day we are either moving toward wellness or away from wellness.
Hi, I'm Mary Jane Mack. I'd like to be your partner in achieving optimal health. Contact me now at maryjanemack.com or call 425-392-0659. Visit maryjanemack.com.
Everybody go.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. If you'd love to experience a live on-air reading and get a copy of the book, we've got a couple of these to give away. 1-800-930-2819, Natural Psychic, and that's what we love. Joining me here today, Ellen Dugan, and we're talking about, what does this all mean? Ellen, before the break, what I was saying was, okay, you ever had an experience where you said, wow, that was weird right there? I don't know, all of a sudden I got this vision or I got this thought and then I don't even know what to do with that. And so I would love for you to talk about this because a lot of times we experience these things and we do get these, what did you call them, psychic pings, and we just don't know what the heck to do. So maybe you could take us through the 3 Ps.
I'm a Virgo. I like things in order, not a stalker. When I first started putting this book together, I literally did what came first, the chicken or the egg, for about 3 weeks, whether I should do abilities or experiences first. And finally, it came down to the idea of it all starts with experience, because if you don't have a psychic experience, you don't know what your ability is. So here's the 3 Ps as I've come to identify them. There's premonition, which is defined as an unclear forewarning accompanied with a simultaneous emotional reaction. It's that vague feeling of unease, something's wrong. You can't put a name on it. You just feel. And it hits you in the gut, and it hits you hard. It's premonition. But what's important to know is there is no specific information with the premonition. It's just that horrible feeling of, oh, God, what's wrong? It makes you stop. It makes you go check on your kids. It makes you go when you're driving. It makes you call and check on your loved ones. The whole point of a premonition is it makes you move. It forces you to get up and find out what's going on. And a lot of people are really afraid of premonitions. Like, well, what if it's something bad? The good thing about premonitions is it's a heads up. It's a heads up. Stop. Pay attention. Go find out what's going on. It allows you to change your course of action or to be there in time to help someone else. Premonitions are nothing to be afraid of. It's simply your body's way of telling you something's wrong, and it's forcing you to pay attention.
A lot of times we look at these things that happen in our lives and, they show up. I'm one of these people. I get these visual things that show up. And for a long time, I didn't really understand or know what the heck to do with them. And I don't think I'm alone. The other thing I've noticed lately is, I'm starting to find pennies everywhere. And I know that's Linda's mom. So the question, I think that is, once we have these things that happen to us or going on in our world or start to pick up, this new information, how do you help people understand?
Okay, well, when a premonition hits, you got to move fast. And what I do is, in my head, I literally rattle off a bunch of questions. Am I in danger? Is someone I love in danger or trouble? If I don't get an immediate hit on me, I say, am I in danger? And if there's no physical reaction, it's not me. And then I say, okay, is it someone I love? And if my stomach tightens, some people describe it as getting sick to their stomach flips, their heart races. It is a physical, gut-wrenching reaction. Don't be like, oh, is that it? Oh, honey, you will know. So run down a list of questions. Is it me? Nope. Is it someone I love? Yes. Okay, are they in danger? If there's no reaction, then go, okay, are they in trouble? Yes. Say, okay, which one of my loved ones is it? Run down the list in your head really fast. When you get a hit, then focus in and just keep asking questions. Do I need to go? Do I need to call? Do I need to check? And see where you get that physical response. If you work when the premonition is hot, you've got that much more energy swirling around you that you can put to good use. And then you can call, move, do, or check and see what's going on. But remember, with the premonition, there's no specific information, just a feeling that something's wrong. When you get specific information like you described that you have these visions or that you see, that would be precognition. Precognition is when you have an experience, which is basically defined as the direct knowledge of events that have yet to occur. In other words, you are getting specific information. And then when you have that experience, then if you ask people, well, how'd you get information? look at how they describe it. If they, like you, well, I had a vision. Okay, that's clairvoyant. If they say, I heard this weird thing. It was like my inner monologue telling me to stop and go back and check where the kids were. That's clairaudience. If it's like, I don't know, it was just like intuition, it just popped into my head. I just knew. That's called claircognizance, or what some people call psychic intuition. If someone says, I just had this horrible, I just felt, it was in the pit of my stomach, everything felt really wrong, and I knew I had to go check on Grandma. Okay, well, then you're looking, if they're saying just knew, that's intuition. But they're saying I had a horrible feeling, I should check on Grandma, and that's called clairsentience or psychic empathy. So when people say I'm having psychic experiences and I'm getting information of the future, that's a precognitive experience, but then look at how they describe their experience, and that gives you the clues as to abilities they have in play as to how they're getting their information.
This is really helpful for people, because I'm sure you've heard this more than not, right? I'm sure you've heard people say, oh, I'm not psychic. I don't really know, and then all of a sudden you hear somebody tell a story about, I decided not to go this way to work. All of a sudden I woke up this morning and I thought, oh, I'm just going to tour the countryside. And off we toured the countryside, only to find out later that there was a major accident or something happened.
Right.
What would you say to people that are constantly battling with themselves, the idea, the argument that I'm not psychic, I don't have these abilities? What are we doing with that?
It has been my experience that the biggest skeptics are the ones that are most desperate to be proven wrong. Some people don't like to trust in their own instincts. They want something that they can hold in the palm of their hand for proof. And to that I say, well, we could talk about clairtangency, and then you could hold something and get a psychic impression if that's what it takes to, for you to have your proof. But the truth is, some people are not comfortable with it, and for people who aren't comfortable with it, we just have to leave them their space. I mean, there's a lot of psychic abilities in my family, but I have relatives who are very uncomfortable with it, even though they have just as many abilities as I do. It's just simply something they choose not to pursue, and you have to respect that.
Do you think that we have really now, and I love this because we're talking about, you referenced earlier the 60s, and I totally relate to that. And we've seen things change. And what I mean by that, right, Ellen, is like, here we are in our pop culture today. Mm-hmm. And I am really amazed, like all of the kind of really interesting kinds of new things going on. Netflix has got a bunch of them, where the idea of being on a completely different level when it comes to intuition, connection, telekinesis. I mean, our pop culture is kind of now like we're beyond I see dead people. Have you discovered that, and how has that influenced individuals?
Well, the truth is that when I was a kid growing up, if you brought up psychic abilities, like for me it was sitting in the lap of a great uncle or aunt, I believe, and saying they have a bad heart, and of course that did not go over well. And then when this individual passed away of an undiagnosed heart condition shortly thereafterwards, it really didn't go over well. Yeah. Nowadays, if some little kid said, I don't think they have a good heart, the parents are going to go, well, why do you think that, honey? Oh, I don't know. And then if a couple of weeks later that person did indeed pass away, that parent might look at their kid and go, wow, I think they might be intuitive. And it's not so fear-based. There's so much information now. People understand it. As you and I mentioned before, it was not socially acceptable to discuss this back in the 60s and 70s. It was just not something people discussed. And now people are very low-key about it. The only problem that I do run into is people who are convinced that their children are very, very gifted psychics, and they are just convinced that they're going to get this kid on reality TV and make a mint. And when they come strolling up to me with this kid and they're like, oh, they're very talented, how can we help them? My answer is always, let them be a child. Let them be a child. Let them have a life. Their abilities will grow in time as they do. Don't push them. Let them be a kid. Don't push them so hard. So, I mean, it's almost the exact opposite now. A lot of people really like the idea of having something, that could make them famous. And the truth is, everybody has these types of abilities. It's like I tell people, everybody can sing. Some people can sing along with the radio. Some people can do four-chord harmony without thinking about it. Some people could be singing on Broadway. Everybody can sing. Different people will have different levels of ability, or some people like to use the word talent. But either way, no matter what you have, even the Broadway singer has to stop, has to train, has to exercise their talent, and work with it so they know exactly what they're capable of. And it's no different for people that are interested in psychic development. If you want to learn, if you want to get the information, if you want to train and build those psychic muscles, the book, The Natural Psychic, will help you. That's why I wrote it.
Yeah, I love what you've written in here. And, I used to have a friend that used to say, oh, my God, Claire is showing up. And everybody looked around the room, but I knew what she was talking about. We're talking about right? It's like, oh, here comes Claire. And everybody's like, Claire? We don't even know a Claire. But, I got it because, some of us have read a few of these. And you really go through and explain Claire in ways I haven't read before. But these now, we're talking about, and you did mention this, Clairaudience and Claire. These are the Claires. And yet people don't really even know what they mean. How important it is to understand these?
It's very important to get the terminology down because, like I said before, once you've got the terminology, then you get the information, then you know. Because nothing makes me crazy when someone's saying, I'm very empathic, I'm very sensitive to the room and the environment, I'm so sensitive it's my curse. And you're looking at it going, really? Are you sensing how much you're ticking me off right now? People who run around saying, oh, I'm so sensitive, usually have all the sensitivity of a brick wall. It's people who very quietly are like, I really step on stuff I shouldn't. I can't be in hospitals. I don't like crowded places. I get overwhelmed. I get sick to my stomach. What is that? Those are the people like, well, it sounds like you are clairsentient. In other words, meaning you're a psychic empath. You literally can read and pick up and are affected by the emotions and feelings of other people in your environment. So, yeah, a hospital would be a tough place for you to go. The funeral home, let's not even start that conversation. That's going to be a really hard place for you to be. But crowded places, malls, might be overwhelming to you simply because you need to learn how to shield from that a little bit, because clairsentience, or empaths as people often call them, they literally throw out their abilities kind of like a big fisherman, kind of like a fisherman would throw off a net off a boat, and they scoop up and they bring all that information right back, and they do it constantly over and over again. And that's how they're able to read their environment. They're the person that walks through and goes, ooh, did somebody just have a fight in here? I don't like the feel of this room. The vibe's off. Let's go. Those are the people that can pick that stuff. They're the ones that know, ooh, I'm not going in this place. I don't like that. I'm not parking my car over here. This has got a bad vibe. That's the clairsentient. They literally cast out with their own feelings and emotions, scoop up everything in the environment around them, and they bring it into themselves, and they read it, and they sense it, and it gives them psychic information.
Wow. I'm going to tell you, this book is fabulous. I am so impressed with how much you were able to put in such a little space. But there are some things in here that if you are really on the foothills of looking at this, we're going to be not just talking about what does it mean? What does reading people actually mean? We're actually going to experience it. We've got a couple of callers waiting to chat. We're going to take a short break, everyone. We'll be right back with the show. For those of you out there, the book is called The Natural Psychic. Ellen Dugan is my very special guest. This is a personal guide to the psychic realm. It is the kind of book that says you can do this, you can do this, and you can do this. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
You can be amazing. You can turn a phrase into a weapon or a drug. You can be the outcast to be the backlash of somebody's lack of love.
Naturopathic doctor, founder of the Martha's Vineyard Holistic Retreat, and author of the New York Times bestseller 21 Pounds in 21 Days, Dr. Ronnie DeLuce has helped tens of thousands of people, including celebrities and athletes, with her message of lifestyle change. Now Dr. Ronnie DeLuce wants to help you. You too can be saved. Email Dr. Ronnie DeLuce at info@ronniedeluceonradio.com and visit mtheholisticretreat.com. Dr. Ronnie DeLuce, your partner in wellness.
Are you ready to thread your life with intuition? Intuit Apparel can help you do just that. This is not just about a piece of clothing. This is about a movement, an awakening, and staying centered in life. Your life. Intuitive and host of the radio show Get Into It, Lynn Brown, was given this image with the intention of a clothing line designed to represent the essence of life itself. Visit intuitapparel.com now and wear your intuition with pride.
Are you feeling stressed,
In pain, disconnected, worried about aging? Corrective alignment and integration therapy restores health. Move your body, which frees your mind and elevates your spirit. Bodywise Bodywork LLC provides the tools you need to create the change you've been waiting for. Start living a fully present and integrated life. Book your 15-minute consultation online at www.bodywisebodywork.com. Bodywise Bodywork LLC, because it's the only body you've got.
If you're one of the millions of Americans suffering from anxiety, you probably know how powerless and out of control this emotion can make you feel. This is why it is so important to remember that anxiety is created by your mind, which means that you can learn to use your mind to uncreate it. Hello, my name is Dr. Friedman Schaub. My award-winning book, The Fear and Anxiety Solution, provides you with a step-by-step breakthrough process to understand and resolve the root causes of your anxiety and build a solid foundation of confidence and inner peace. If you're ready to take your power back, visit thefearandanxietysolution.com. That's thefearandanxietysolution.com, or call 866-903-6463. That's 866-903-MIND.
Tired of traditional talk? People pontificating about this or that, the left or the right. Sometimes the truth is just all lost in the noise. Tune in each week to Straight Talk with Chuck Gallagher on TransformationTalkRadio.com, Mondays at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, as nationally known guests talk about what's important to you, your life, your concerns, and your success. Tune in and turn on to Straight Talk with Chuck Gallagher. Visit ChuckGallagher.com for more information.
Speaking up, nothing's gonna hurt you the way the words do when they settle near your skin. Kept on the inside and no sunlight, sometimes a shadow wins.
We are so thrilled. We're getting to talk with Ellen today. And for those of you out there, the Natural Psychic with Ellen Dugan, I want to make sure all of you have lots of information. Ellen, what's the best way for people to find out more about you?
They can go to www.ellendugan.com, and that's my website, and they can find out all kinds of good stuff.
Awesome. And what we're going to do is we're going to have a couple people that are joining us on air. They have called in. And when you call in into the show, as those of you have done, Benny is going to connect us here in a hot second. After we're done, don't hang up. We need to get some information from you so we can send you something. Mr. Benny, who do we have first?
Yeah, we'll start things off. We'll take Francis calling in from Seattle. So, Francis, welcome to the show.
Hi, Francis.
Hi, Dr. Pat. Hi, Ellen. Hello.
How can we help you today?
Well, I called in and I asked if I was supposed to have a question, and she didn't think I needed one. So what kind of question should I have for you? I heard you were doing...
Hello? She got cut off. Is she still there?
Yeah, we're all here. Go ahead. Ask your question.
I'm supposed to ask a question. Okay. Actually, the question would be, I am looking for a new direction in my life right now, and I am meditating. I am looking at opening up more of my natural psychic abilities, and if you can give me any more specific direction, that would be really helpful.
Okay, first thing I want to tell you is that that's great that you're meditating, but you have to get up and physically do something with that as well. I'm not trying to be rude or sarcastic. I mean, that's great that you're meditating, but if you're looking to go in a new direction in your life, then I would get up and move and, explore and see what you can find. I flipped over 3 cards while you were talking, and the first one was the 7 of Pentacles, and that says reward after hard work. So that lets me know that you're willing to work hard to get to where you want to go. The second card was the Empress, so I want to ask you, and this is a yes or no answer. Are you a mom? Do you have kids?
No.
No, you do not. Okay, and then the third card, we've got the Ace of Swords, victory, which means you're pretty much can do whatever you set your mind to. The Empress card sometimes symbolizes motherhood, but it also symbolizes that caring and that nurturing and that creative side. So what I would recommend is that you focus more on your creativity, more about your nurturing, more about your caregiving, and see where that takes you. If you're a creative, empathic person, then I would pursue that and see where it goes. Because with cards like the Seven of Pentacles and the Ace of Swords, that tells me not only are you willing to work hard, that you can succeed in just about anything you set your mind to. I think what's holding you back is I think you've got to figure, well, if I just meditate long enough, all the answers are going to appear. No, the meditation is only going to give you a little bit more clarity. You still need to get out there and live your life and, go about your business, maybe do a little journaling as well. And then I think that should give you a little bit more answers. But I think if you're getting out there and kind of like moving and shaking, then I think some of the stuff that's coming to you in your meditation is going to start to make sense. Because right now it seems like you're almost stuck in a loop, but you're not going forward, even though you really want to. You're like, I want to be there, but you haven't quite gone there. So I think you need to take a few more steps in a better direction.
Okay. Yeah, that's my issue is I keep looking for more clarity and trying to get my mind out of the way, because whenever I come up with an idea, I find a million reasons why it won't work.
I couldn't hear what the last part was it? She said
she says she makes up a million reasons why it doesn't work. She keeps looking. You keep looking for clarity, right?
I keep looking for clarity and direction, and usually what happens is then I find a million reasons why that won't work.
Right. So you get the clarity, and then all of a sudden you come up with reasons why the clarity is not going to work, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Boy.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I think what Ellen's telling you is got to take some action here.
Yeah, it's time to get up, start moving, start looking around.
Yeah, you got to get up. You got to start doing something. So when you get the clarity, you got your marching orders.
Right. At least I'll get feedback if I go do something, right?
Well, you're going to get more. I think what you're going to get is more awareness and more guidance. If you're, this is what my experience has been. Anytime I've gotten some insight into something, I had to take a step, and I didn't know how it was going to work out, and I didn't know what it was going to mean, and I didn't know this, and I didn't know that at that moment. But if I would have gotten into the mode, which I have at some points in my life, where, it's not going to work, well, guess what? It doesn't work.
Yeah, you're very passive.
Right.
You're very, very passive. You need to stand up and be active. Time to put the passive stuff aside. It's all about balance, feminine, masculine, passive, receptive. You're very passive. You're very receptive, but you're not being aggressive in a positive way, and you're not being assertive. You're just sitting still. You're not pushing out. I think if you start pushing out and start being a little more assertive, I think you're going to see a real change. But to me, it feels like you're stuck in a loop, and the only way you change that loop is to step outside of it.
There you go. I love that. Now, do me a favor. Don't hang up. We need to get some information so we can get you a copy of the book, okay? So hang on. Benny will do that. Mr. Benny, who do we have next?
All right, let's jump now to David. David is calling in from Seattle as well. So, David, welcome to the show. What's your question?
Thank you, Benny. Thank you, Dr. Pat and Ellen. My question is, I just recently changed job, so I freed up some mind space. It's a little less taxing and some time, and I have a better energy there. Now I'm just trying to really focus in on chasing my higher purpose and kind of what direction or what avenue I should really look down or how I should go about that transition.
Okay, when you were talking, I pulled up 3 cards. The first one was Eight of Swords, which shows someone who's blindfolded and standing in a circle of swords, and it's all misty around them, and with being blindfolded. It looks like, oh no, they're trapped. Actually, it's a card all about getting past your fear and paying attention to what's going around you and stepping out of that circle and ripping your blindfold. So it sounds to me like you're trying to get there, but you're not quite. You're more like, okay, I made the changes, and now what do I do? You made these changes, but things haven't quite gotten there. You've also got the support of your friends and your family on a level that you are not aware of. People are rooting for you. You need to trust in that a little bit more. And also, another card you pulled up that I pulled up while you were speaking was the Karma card. And the Karma card talks about things coming to fruition. Things that you put into motion in the past are now coming into being in the present and in the future, which is good for someone who's trying to change their job and change their career and change where they're going with their life. So what I would tell you is rip off that blindfold, take a really hard look around, see what's going on around you, You know, you've got a good support system, and I define family as the people that love you. They don't necessarily have to be your relatives. Take a look at your family who loves you and supports you, and, you know, get out there and start going after those dreams. You've got it in motion, but again, you seem like you're hesitating to me. Don't hesitate. Take a deep breath and jump in. You did all this work to get to where you're going, and now you're like, oh, you're like standing on the edge of the diving board. And I'm the kid coming up the ladder going, go on, go on, go on, go, jump, go. It's going to be great. Go after it.
Got that, David?
Okay.
All
Yep.
right. Hey,
Thank
David,
you.
don't hang up. Okay, we'd love to give you a copy of the book. Let Benny get some information. Mr. Benny, let's take a short break. When we come back, and as I said before, we are taking your calls, 1-800-930-2819. When we come back, we're going to talk about what does this mean, this thing, this idea of reading people. What are some of the do's? What are some of the don'ts? And how are the different ways that Ellen talks about in the book? Everything from tarot to maybe something you've got up your sleeve and are afraid to take out there. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back with the Dr. Pat Show.
Do you want to transform your life's trauma and challenges into the gift that your life was meant to be? It's time for you to take control of your soul journey to heal, grow, and shine. Manifest your destiny with Wendy Wolf, soul transformer, energy, and psychic healer. To start your soul journey, contact Wendy at healgrowshine.com or email Wendy at wendy@wendyrwolf.com and start your adventure today.
What if there was no right or wrong way to be a great parent? Join Access Consciousness Facilitator Glenna Rice as she and Dr. Pat invite you to be the questionable parents you truly are and empower you to know and give the awareness required to create ease and joy with your children. Join Dr. Pat and Glenna as they focus on parenting for the modern family. Tune in every month to the Dr. Pat Show on air and online at transformationtalkradio.com.
Are you feeling broken from your relationships? Are you second-guessing yourself about friends, family, and lovers? Tune in to the hit show that's creating a buzz in the love-seeking community. Love Seeker Radio, finding love for your authentic self with renowned love coach Heather Lynn. Tired of dissatisfying relationships? Kiss them goodbye and power up your love seeker energy. Coach Heather Lynn reminds you that you can just be you, the beautiful and perfect you. Visit heatherlynncoaching.com to learn more.
What does a Dentist of the Year get? A little plaque. Welcome to Smile Big, where we offer cosmetic, restorative, and preventative dentistry. Dr. James Rosenwald and Dr. Susan Abdenor work hard every day for their clients to be happy to smile with the latest equipment for complete smile restoration for anyone. The sooner you call, the sooner they can help. Call 425-454-4040 or email scheduling@smilebig.com. You can even visit our website at smilebig.com.
How confident do you feel about your retirement? Ask Ameriprise financial advisor Jeff Packman about the exclusive Confident Retirement Approach. Together, you and Jeff can break down retirement planning step by step to get to the real answers you need. Call Jeff Packman, financial advisor, today at 425-453-0272. Office is located at 601 108th Avenue Northeast, Suite 1800 in Bellevue, Washington, 98004. The Confident Retirement Approach is not a guarantee of future financial results. Investment advisory products and services are made available through Ameriprise Financial Services Incorporated, a registered investment advisor. Ameriprise Financial Services Incorporated, member of FINRA and SIPC.
Called the Oprah of radio by her listeners, award-winning host Dr. Pat Baccili is blowing the doors off of traditional talk radio. Get ready for an energizing delivery and powerful interviews with leaders in the field of human potential. Dr. Pat's fresh, new perspective on living life full out has catapulted her show to the top of talk radio. Tune in and Dr. Pat will help you thrive instead of merely survive. Visit thedrpatshow.com. That's THEDRPatshow.com for listening times in your area.
Oh, thank you, everybody, for tuning us in, turning us on. Oh, my gosh, the hour has just zipped along. Thank you for tuning us in. And, for more information about Ellen, like we said before, you can go, Ellen, your website's ellendugan.com, right?
Correct.
Good. And the book is called The Natural Psychic, A Personal Guide to the Psychic Realm. There's so much in this book to guide you along the pathway to not just exploring your own psychic abilities, but understand what it looks like for you and how it shows up in lights and in life. And, I must be thinking about the whole lamp light thing. That's why I said the street lamp thing. That's why I said light. Isn't that interesting?
Sliders.
Just happened right there. I was just, where did light come from? It's because I read Sliders in the book. But I wanted to talk with you a little bit about what does it mean to, quote, read people? And then I think Sliders wants to be talked about.
Okay. When you're doing a reading for someone, if you're doing a tarot reading, then, the customer or the client, whatever term you want to use, sits down across from you. I usually say, have you ever had a reading before? Because if they haven't, I go over some basics because there's some of the tarot cards that can freak people out if they've never had a reading before. Like, for example, the death card very rarely means physical death, but it actually means radical change. So 9 times out of 10, if a pregnant lady sits down, that card's going to come up because there is no bigger change than having a baby or bringing a new baby home. So, stuff like that, I always make sure they understand, okay, these are images, that they're supposed to be evocative. Let's not panic. You'll make it to your card just fine. So I always ask them if they've ever had a reading before, and then I ask them, are you looking to look, or do you have a specific question? If they have a specific question, that helps me, narrow in on what they're after so we can go forward.
Well, and part of this, too, is you demonstrated this today as well. I mean, you went through and in what you said to people, I've already pulled 3 cards for you. So many people believe that, here we are and, it's all about this way or that way. How do you help people explore their own method, right?
Right. The truth is that you don't have to use tarot cards for me, especially when I'm doing readings over the phone and they're physically far away from me. The tarot cards work as a springboard, it's a jumping off point. I can literally flip over those cards and it gives me an idea of what's going on because every tarot card tells a story. And the longer you work with your specific deck, the more you realize when you draw a specific card and it falls in a specific spot, you start to learn what that means because your experiences matter when you read tarot cards. And I talk about that a little bit in the book. But then I can also do readings where I hold someone's hand and then I read them without having to use cards. It's been my experience that people are much more comfortable with cards in front of them. It's like a prop. It gives them something to focus on. It's pretty, they're colorful, and it helps them calm down because it's very difficult to read someone who's really strapped down tight or has their arms folded across their chest and their legs crossed. You can do it, but you're going to have to work twice as hard. And it is work. It's not easy to do. You do have to work at it to get some results. It's not just going to fall in your lap.
Well, and this is really something else too. It's like being able to recognize that you're having that experience. And that's what you talked about earlier. Today, and this is really important because this happens more times than not. Today, a couple of times we're doing the show and the technology bleeped in and out. Now, we have some of the best technology on the planet. And yet at the same time, we've seen this time and time again. I was sitting here the other day and I said to the folks in the building here, I said, hey, did your electricity go out? And they're like, what are you talking about? And so I said, yeah, I got these lights flickering and stuff down here. We just had this happen today on the show when you were doing the readings. Now, mind you, it has not happened any other time you and I are chatting, but we bring on 2 people, right? And we get
a couple of psychics on the phone, and things are going to get crazy.
So is this another way? Tell us a little bit about this. And is this another way for people to tune in to what might be? Yeah.
This is a type of psychic phenomenon that's called sliders, capital S, capital L, capital I, and then lowercase DER. And sliders is an acronym, and it stands for originally Street Lamp Interference Data Exchange Receivers. And what that is the whole idea is behind people that put out so much energy on such a high level that they can literally screw up electronic equipment. It's kind of like if you're out walking the dog, you're taking a nice walk at night, and you walk under your street lamp and it goes and goes out, and you're like, okay, that was weird. But if it happens to you all the time, You should look into that. For example, I can't wear a watch. I fry every watch that I wear. If I get upset and I go to throw on the light switch, doesn't matter where I am, I will blow up all the light bulbs that attach to the light switch. Little things like Christmas lights on the Christmas trees. I can't. My family doesn't even allow me to help decorate them because if I'm stressed out or wound up, I blow them out every time. The idea behind that being it's a type of psychic phenomenon that's very hard to classify, but it's very common. People who are known as sliders, they put in a lot of electronic energy, and it's usually due to the fact that they're usually got a lot of psychic abilities that they're packing. And if they don't know they're doing it or they repress them, it's usually worse. Or if they're just high volume, like I am, then they've got a lot of energy buzzing around them all the time, and that can blow up things like light bulbs and watches and cell phones and computers. So basically, if you suspect that you're a slider, you're going to want to back up your smartphone with extra protection and your computer with an extended warranty. And then you need to learn to calm down. You need to learn to do a little meditating, find your zen, make yourself happy and calm. Because if you don't, you're only going to have more problems. The brain is electric. The body's electric. Psychic abilities and all that comes from the brain. You've got all these impulses buzzing around, and if you get a whole lot going at one time, it can mess up anything electronic, no matter how high-tech it is. So am I surprised it's happening today? No, I'd be surprised if it didn't happen today.
Exactly. That's what I love about it. And, this is for those of you out there. Ellen's book, The Natural Psychic, is amazing. This hour, as usual, just goes zipping on by. There are so many things that we didn't talk about, Ellen. And I wanted to ask you this question. We have a couple minutes left. What are some of the things you'd like to share that perhaps we didn't get to, that the book goes into a lot more detail than we have time for here?
Well, I'd like people to stop and remember that when they have a psychic experience, a premonition is going to be just a vague feeling of unease with no information, where a precognitive experience or precognition is you're getting information about an event that hasn't occurred. And then postcognition, you and I talked about this in the break when people couldn't hear us, you are literally sensing, seeing, or hearing something in the past. And with postcognition, that's great because it's really easy to go back and double-check your facts. For people who maybe walk through a historic site like the House of Seven Gables in Salem, Massachusetts, or maybe the Gettysburg, memorial, or the big battlefield, and they're walking through like, oh my God, I can hear the cannons. I just have to, I can almost see people running. I just have this horrible sense of loss. Okay, you're having a post-cognitive experience. Look at how you're describing your post-cognitive experience. Are you seeing it? That's clairvoyance. Are you hearing it? That's clairaudience. Are you feeling it? That's clairsentience. I mean, you have to stop and ask yourself, how are you getting the information? Look at the words you use to describe your experiences. If you're seeing the future, that's precognition. If you're seeing the past, that's postcognition. That old Sandra Bullock movie, Premonition, that movie makes me crazy because it's not named the right thing. That movie should be named Precognition because you're getting specific information in that movie. But everybody's like, oh, I'm having a premonition. I'm getting information like this.
No.
So once you got you understand what you're dealing with, and the more you understand, the more clarity it gives you, and the more empowerment it gives you.
I love it. Thank you so much, Ellen. I've got one last question. What's your personal message? What would you like to leave us all with today? And thank you for joining me here.
My personal message is be open to what's out there. I purposely wrote The Natural Psychic to be non-denominational for all religious paths or no religious paths to read and follow and get information without being burdened down by someone else's spiritual beliefs. At the end of the day, your religion and your religious practice have nothing to do with whether or not you are a psychic. It's natural. It's a part of who you are. It's part of your genetic makeup. Embrace it, enjoy it, get to know more about it, and go forward, because the more you know, the better you're going to be, and the more you can use these things to your advantage and become more successful and a happier person.
Wow. Thank you so much. Everybody tuning in. Ellen Dugan here today, The Natural Psychic, fabulous book. We're going to take a short break, everyone. We'll be right back.